Assalamualaikum and very good days. So for the today we continue our new chapter 2 regarding to the water supply. Okay, so in this topic we will learn about all this topic. Okay, we understand about the regulation, okay, the standards, and then the process of the water supply. Okay, so first of all, in Malaysia we very gifted because of the receiving of the rainfall. We have the huge depth of the receiving rainfall, about the 2040 120 millimeter for Peninsula. This one for the annually. Okay, and in the Sabah and Sarawak they have the highest receiving rainfall than the Peninsula, but with the 2420 millimeter is very huge volume of the water. Okay, let's see what is the mean by 2.2420 millimeter is the depth of water annually, yearly, setiap tahun. Okay, we will receive this about 2.4 meter water of water depth. If we multiply with the area in Malaysia, okay, so we make supposed to be million gallon, okay, million gallon of the water sources from the rainfall. Okay, Malaysia water status are diverse, increase and competitiveness. However, for the future forecasting, okay, by SMHB engineers and Berhad, water supply demand cannot be met in many locations. Okay, disebabkan due to this one cause of the climate change. Okay, human factors. Okay, degradation in the groundwater due to for the uncontrolled opening forest area. Okay, logging, road urbanization. Okay, so all this activity will be resulting in the massive sediment flow into the river and automatically will be degrade the groundwater quality. Okay, the groundwater. Okay, so when we instead of the low water quality, okay, low water quality instead of the low water quality. So low water quality, so we cannot use that water for the treatment, for the supply for the domestic instead of the low water quality. In another case, the volume, okay, when the sediment flow into the river, automatically, okay, the area of the river will be reduced. Let's say this is the cross section of the river, so sediment will be increased. Okay, automatically the water volume, okay, this one water volume will be decreased. Kalau this one sediment not flowing into the river, so we have a lot of the water quantity. Okay, this is the reason why we have the challenging. Okay, we have the challenge ataupun kekangan for the water supply. And then another word is the pollution in the river lah. Semua common lah. Banyak kali dengar pollution in the rivers. Let's say in the Selangor, how many time? Okay, how many time they are facing? Okay, the facing about the water treatment plant, about the shutdown of the water treatment plant. So the water treatment plant cannot be operate, okay, because of the water quality not meet the guideline. Okay, when the water quality not meet the guideline, so the raw water cannot be used for the further process. So dia kena make sure the raw water quality must be comply with the standard, and then barulah, and then they can use that raw water for the they can pumping ataupun collect the water for the treatment process. Okay, so the raw water is very important. Okay, in Malaysia the water crisis happened in the 2014. This one previous lah. Nowadays in the Selangor, let's say in the Selangor, I thought in every year they have the water crisis. Okay, regarding about the river pollution. Okay, instead of the river pollution, this one river pollution, treatment plant shut down due to the contamination to river pollution ataupun water source ataupun water intake. Water intake, they have the low water quality. Okay, low water quality. Meteorological background, lack of the rainfall in the catchment area. Okay, this one usually due to for the climate change. Let's say what happened to the Johor Bahru, in Johor. So in the Sembawang Dam. Okay, Sembawang Dam. Okay, let's say this is the catchment of the Sembawang Dam. Okay, let's say this one lake. Here is the dam. This one reservoir. So for the previous hydrologists, they have the prediction, okay, that this area, the catchment area, will be received, let's say 2,000 millimeter annually. Okay, due to the climate change, the depth of the rainfall will be reduced. Okay, sebelum ni the rainfall will be poor in this location. Okay, due to the climate change and also for the human deforestation, and then the rainfall will be not pouring in this catchment area. Dah tak turun lagi dah kawasan ni, dia dah move to the others area, other catchment. That's why this phenomenon will be affected to the volume in the Sembawang Dam. Okay, this is the part of the effect of the climate change. Okay, water sources. Okay, in Malaysia, commonly we have the two type of the water sources. There is groundwater and surface water. Okay, for the student that have come from the Kelantan, they always use the groundwater because they have the high water level. Okay, high water level in their area, and then they can use the shallow well, usually shallow well lah in the groundwater. And in the Johor, usually we use the surface water. So what is the different characteristic? Okay, what is the characteristic both of the water sources? Okay, groundwater usually they have the constant composition. Okay, why they have the constant composition? Because the water in the groundwater is the confined. Okay, dia tertutup. So they have the quite difficult to receive any pollution from the outside. Okay, different with the surface water, the variable composition, because the open water. So they have the receiving many sources of the pollution or composition from the surrounding. Okay, groundwater, they have the high mineral content because they have the reaction with the surface of the rock. Okay, the boundary rock between the water and the rock. So they have the contact. They have the contact, and then will be occur reaction between the water and the rock, and then they give high mineral. Okay, surface water have the low mineral. Groundwater have the low turbidity. Okay, sebab dia confined. Surface water have the high turbidity because of the sediment and so on lah, for the parameter of the channel. Okay, groundwater low color, surface water color due to the open because surface water open area, they have the many factor that can affected to the characteristic of the surface water. Groundwater low DO or no DO because they have no erosion occur in the groundwater because they have the closed confined area. Meanwhile, the surface water have the erosion, okay, due to turbulence or any flow. So they have the erosion, and then DO is present lah. High hardness kita dah belajar for the chapter 1, why high hardness, calcium and magnesium. So when they have the height of the calcium and magnesium, so they have the high hardness contact with the either the carbonate hardness or non-carbonate hardness. So they have the highest ferrum and manganese. Okay, low hardness because less of the calcium and magnesium. The water have the taste and odor. Sometimes they have the odor lah. So what is the act include for the water supply? So in the Malaysia we have the Act 2006 Act 654. This act enforced on 1 February 2007. by Ministry of the Energy, Water and Communication. Before this one, previous lah, in 2007. Now we just come as the KASA, Kementerian Alam Sekitar and Air. Okay, nowadays the name is the KASA. Okay, Kementerian Alam Sekitar and Air. Okay, the act was the enforcement. So who is the responsible to this act is the SPAN, Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Air Negara. Okay. And then National Service Commission to regulate and enforce the provisional of the Water Industry Service Act, okay, known as the WSIA. Okay, the commission will fully function in January 2008. Okay, 2008 barulah kita ada ATA ni, di mana body Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Air ni akan mantau lah all related to this act. Okay. Okay, the Central Regulation Agency. So what is the main purpose of this act? To oversee the adequate, okay, kecukupan water volume, okay, volume and quality. Okay, they consist of the two things, volume and quality. Okay, the commission should have the function conferred on the under the water supply and sewerage service. Okay, dia ada dua terlibat. Okay, water supply and sewerage. Okay, to ensure, yang tadi saya cakap dua benda penting. The important thing is the volume, okay, quantity and quality. And another thing, they have also to monitor the compliance, monitoring operator compliance. Okay, ni yang saya kat yang menjalankan working tugasan, okay, the task ataupun job for the water supply and sewerage, IWK in Johor, Syarikat Air Johor. So they termaktub, okay, they include in this act. Okay, so the another one is to ensure the national development goals, okay, pertaining to cover supply and access to water supply service which are achieved. Okay, WASIA, WSIA, what is the purpose? Okay, to ensure uniformity of law and policy, keseragaman, to make the proper control regulation to water supply, okay, throughout the Peninsula, Federal Putrajaya lah, dah buat. Okay, so dia tak termasuk Sabah Sarawak, they have their own act regarding for the water supply. Okay, all these things, three main subsidiary legislation termasuk dalam ni adalah water service, industry, licensing, okay, permit and exemption. Okay, so here is the flow chart regarding for the Act 206. So we can find what is the relationship, okay, relationship between the ministry and Suruhanjaya yang terlibat, okay, that involved into this act. Okay, we have the two ministry, satu kewangan MOF and the second one is the KASA lah, KASA. So ni 2007 we call it KETA. Okay, we have the KASA. So under KASA we have the SPAN. Okay, under the Kementerian Kewangan we have the PAAB. So PAAB is the facility license. Okay, they will be urus, okay, they manage all about the facility. Okay, so we act the WSA. So SPAN representative is include of the two major field is about the water supply and sewerage service. Okay, this one service licensing service licensing ni include to the PAAB. Okay, so water supply service. So here we is water asset owner. This one the owner for the all this water treatment plant. Okay, design and develop, okay, by PAAB. Okay, this one only water supply service. Water supply service is the operator lah. This is the company that will be have the conduct ataupun control ataupun operate. Okay, they operate the water treatment plant. They just operate. Okay, the asset is the owned by PAAB. Macam polis masih lagi ni lah, PKR, Pahang Jabatan Makan Air. So another semua dah ni syarikat Air Kelantan, okay, semua dah privatize. Okay, Perak pun dah privatize, dan syarikat Air Perak, Pulau Pinang masih perbadanan lagi. Lain semua dah syarikat sudah jadi swasta lah. Okay, this is the water usage, domestic and non-domestic. Okay, 2015. So from this, dia depend on the population lah. Kalau high population mestilah penggunaan dia dah tinggi. Contoh Selangor tinggi kan, sebab dia high population. Second Johor. So all this depend on the population, and also depend on the water coverage. Okay, water supply coverage tu how many percent. Okay, kalau ada highest, so banyaklah tinggi kegunaan air dia. Okay, contoh macam Kelantan masih sikit 2238 sebab coverage dia tak menyeluruh. Okay, kalau Kelantan dan Terengganu Kelantan Kedah ni beza kan, sebab commonly in the Kelantan they use the ground water because penggunaan air pipe tu tak menyeluruh lagi. Saya rasa tak sampai 90% lagi. Last saya dengar dia target to get the 90% 5 more years. Okay, 2030. Okay, 2030 dia target. Saya kat Kelantan Berhad cakap dia target to get the 90%. Okay, to achieve the water supply coverage. Okay, Perlis low because the lower population lah. Okay, lower population. So this one depend on the geography and demography. Okay, so for the water surface, okay, the water surface. So when we want to understand ataupun identify, okay, to categorize for the water surface, either is the usable, okay, usable to use for the any activity. So we can compute ataupun we can determine by using the water quality index. So water quality index, the purpose to know the beneficial use of the fresh water. Okay, beneficial use. So with this index, so what is the purpose? What is the suitable for that water can be used? Okay, so this is the water quality index equation. 0.22 SIDO plus 0.9 SBOD 0.16 C sub-index. SI ni sub-index sub-index DO, sub-index BOD, sub-index COD, sub-index ammonia nitrogen, sub-index suspended solid, sub-index pH. Okay, the water quality serve as the basis for the environment assessment of the water cost in relation to pollution categorized design class of the beneficial use. Ni this one kita tu. Ni masuk dalam kategori apa? Contoh ni. This one ada kelas 1, kelas 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4, 5. Okay, ni based on the parameter. Okay, kalau yang ni based on the index. Okay, based on the index. So kalau 8 sampai 100 clean, 60 hingga 80 slightly polluted, 0 hingga 86 polluted lah. Okay, this one class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, daripada kelas ni we can determine what is the beneficial uses. Okay, what is the uses for the water, what is the suitable for the water, what is the purpose. So kalau dia dalam kelas 1, okay, so the directly can use, okay, practically no treatment necessary. Okay, then sesuai for the suitable for the very sensitive aquatic species. Okay, if the water quality index in the class 2 they required, okay, required for conventional and sensitive species can be live in this water. Okay, if the 2B recreational use we contact, okay, dia sesuai lah. Kalau less than 2B ni, kalau kat atas semua sesuai lah untuk rekreasi sesuai. Tapi kalau less than 2B ni, 3, 4 ni dah tak sesuai lah untuk recreational use by body contact. This is the purpose lah, why we need to measurement for the water quality index. Okay, okay, ni this is the equation. Okay, 0, 100, so they depend on the value. X ni represent for the value. This one value of the DO. Okay, if the DO is the 8, this one in the percent the percent. DO dalam bentuk percent, saturation percent. Contoh you ada, kata you ukur DO, you measure the DO for the certain water lake, and then you get the 5.838 milligram per liter. So you need to change in the percentage. Okay, after you change the percentage, let's say percentage is the 72. Okay, and then you look 72 dalam kawasan sini. So you use this formula. X ni you substitute dengan 72. Okay, this one substitute 72 power of 3, power of 2. So you kira ni and then you can dapat berapa nilai dia. Contoh you kira you dapat 52. Okay, 52 ni akan you substitute dalam sini. SIDO ni masuk sini 52 macam tu. Okay, BOD the value sama, BOD X. X represent for the BOD concentration. Okay, if the less than 5, you use the equation. Gantikan substitute X with this equation. Let's say 3 mg per liter, you determine the BOD for that water is the 3 mg per liter, and then you substitute 3 in the X. Okay, if the more than 5, so you found the BOD is 15. Okay, you measure and you test in the lab, and then you get the answer is 15, and then you substitute X here, 15, and then you get the answer. What is the answer? So 82. Okay, 82, you substitute here 82, and then you similar for the rest, dan ini semua sama. Okay, X bergantung kepada, depend on the parameter concentration. This one pH level. Okay, if the pH 7.5, so you use this formula. If the pH 3.2, you use this formula. Similar for the suspended solid. If the concentration of the suspended solid less than 100, so use this formula. Substitute X with your value. Okay, ammonia nitrogen, similar to ammonia nitrogen. And then after you get all this value, okay, DO value, and then you substitute here. So it has, let's say 72 and then 83, let's say, and then you compute here, summation compute, and then you can get the WKI berapa? 72, 63, and so on lah, based on this calculation. Okay, this one depend on the each parameter. Okay, yang ni bukan not for the index, but for the each parameter. Kalau DO class 3 must be range 5.6, the same. Okay, ammonia, contoh ammonia class 1 to B is 0.3, mesti less than 0.3, suitable for the body contact. More than not suitable for the body contact. Let's say is the way lah how you can identify for the each parameter. Okay, so I have this exercise. So saya nak you selesaikan. Okay, solve the exercise. Okay, they have the 2 station. Let's say they have river. Okay, river. So this one upstream, contoh upstream kat sini lah, the sampling kat sini. Okay, this the result for the W upstream, and then this downstream. Mungkin ada jarak dia lah, 1 km ke 2 km ke from both point. Okay, so saya nak you based on this data dapatkan WQI upstream, and then you get WQI downstream. Okay, upstream kan downstream. Try to determine for the WQI. Okay, this one as your assignment lah. Ni dah about first time I give you assignment, so this one as your assignment. Okay, and then submit to the in the author. Okay, submit to in the author within 1 week lah, within 1 week. Okay, week 5 nanti submit week 5, week 6. Okay, week 6. Okay, week 6 you need to submit for this exercise. Saya tukar exercise ni sebagai assignment. Okay, as your assignment, submit to the author. Okay, here is the qualification of the river water quality in Malaysia in 2070. Here is total numbers. You tengok total numbers. In the 2008 we have been 579, and pada 2012 ni dia dah menurun 2011 dia turun 464, and then they increase back. Okay, why will be happen? Because this one dia menurun ni sebabnya kita dah lost. Okay, dah lost numbers of the river. Okay, bila river tu dah they cannot categorize as the river yet. No more categorized as the river, so we call as the dead river. So that's why the total of number will be decreased, and then increase because we successfully to remediation. Okay, kita dah baik pulih then river, and then they become as the river maybe in the class 4. That's why we need to care and make sure our rivers all in the good condition and the clean condition. At least in the slightly polluted. Okay, at least in this 2 category kita mesti jaga supaya dalam this category tak nak masuk ke polluted, and lastly they become as the dead. Okay, dead river. That means the river is not called as the, cannot be categorized as the river. Okay, here 477 rivers, only one river as the class class 1. Okay, 300 all river as the class 2. Class 1 ni that's mean this river you can directly doing the water, okay, tanpa perlu rawatan pun, just ambil masak, okay dah. You take the water, you collect the water and then boil, and then you can eat drinking. But for the class 2 they have the conventional, okay, they need conventional treatment. Okay, that's why it's important, why we need to rehab and then care and make sure that our river not become as the polluted river. Okay, so they have the one river as class 5. Okay, lepas class 5 ni maksudnya we call as a dead river. So kena jagalah supaya kita tak hilang lagi satu river ni. So tak nak for the next another year we become 6, 7, 6 and then 26 go down to the class 5. So kita kena cover and recovery balik pulih, rehab balik our river and become as the to be in the class 3 ataupun class 2. Okay, so 5 major type of the water pollution is the manufacturing industry, agriculture industry, okay, sewerage treatment plant, okay, piggery ni besar, ladang besar, ladang babi yang besar. So they have the without proper treatment for the sewerage effluent. Okay, lepas ladang babi tu kan dia ada proses dia kan, ada pembuangan najis apa semua, so dia tak ada proper treatment. Should be they have the irrigation pond ke ataupun treatment pond before they release the water effluent to the water bodies. Okay, so 3 primary prime parameter we high impact to the water body, BOD. So BOD ni related to the organic lah, organic, okay, release the organic, okay, makan, minum, sisa apa semuanya ada organic. Okay, suspended solid, commonly sediment apa dia akan reflect to the sediment, suspended solid, and ammonia, nitrogen. Sewerage include the livestock, farming and domestic. This one sisa pembuangan, okay, urine and so on. They have the high amount of the ammonia, nitrogen. Okay, here is the national drinking raw water for national guideline for raw water drinking. So this one maksudnya untuk air minuman. Okay, they have the others parameters. So ada sulfate, hardness, chloroform. So dia banyak, dia ada heavy metal juga. So dia ada limit. Here is the treated water quality standard. Okay, raw water maksudnya before treatment plant, and treated water after masuk treatment plant. So contoh raw water ni daripada sungai lah. Contoh kita ada sungai, ini ada treatment plant. Okay, ni STP, water treatment plant. Okay, so dia ada intake air kat sungai ni. So air sungai ni must be comply with this standard. Okay, that's why when they have the certain pollution, let's say ada ammonia, okay, tiba-tiba ada bau ammonia ni, ada concentration of the ammonia, so they cannot be intake the water from this river. So they can shut down, tutup dulu, close the, and then make sure they have the certain emergency treatment. Let's say the flushing ke ataupun absorption process ke to remove the ammonia, and then after the check the water quality no more ammonia in the raw water, and then barulah dia boleh open. That's why dia will be become as the gangguan bekalan air. Ada certain area split in Selangor lah, common problem in the Selangor. Okay, tengok tiap bulan and every month mesti ada tutup. Okay, so ni raw water. So treated water dah lepas the proses ni, intake, okay, they have the process for the primary, secondary, okay, tertiary, and then untuk supply to the reservoir and domestic use. So kat sini lah air keluar ni mesti comply with this standard. Okay, so for the water demand, okay, various type of the water demand. Okay, kegunaan dia sama ada kita guna for the domestic, okay, industrial, institution demand, public, okay, fire demand. Loss in the water ni we call as the apa saya lupa dah nama dia, non-revenue water. Okay, non-revenue, NRW, non-revenue water. So that means the water not give any profit. Okay, non-revenue water ni maksud dia, okay, apabila when we have the water treatment, okay, water treatment, okay, kita masa keluar ke reservoir, contoh 4,000 meter cube, okay, 4,000 meter cube, and supply to ke rumah apa semua. So bila the billing, okay, bila billing, billing ke apa, so patutnya dia 4,000 meter cube. Billing pada kawasan semua yang supply with ni must be 4,000 meter cube water. The billing mesti bill dia 4,000 meter cube, barulah we can dapat kosong non revenue water. Tapi apabila kita supply water 4,000 meter cube, and then when we billing, kita check water quality meter, water meter, okay, water meter, and then at the month 4,000 release, but at the month we bill hanya 3,000, contoh 3,000 meter cube. So we lost 1,000 meter cube. So 1,000 meter cube ni loss mungkin disebabkan pipe burst, okay, bocor, okay, leakage, okay, ataupun kena curi. So this one we call as the non revenue water. So 1,000 hilang, okay, 1,000. Contohlah kalau 1,000 3,000 daripada 4,000 from 4,000, so the loss 25%. So 25% non revenue water. Okay. So for per capita demand, so many factor involved in the water demand. It's not possible to determine the actual demand, but we can estimate lah. Okay, estimate by total quantity water required by various purpose. Okay, P is the population ataupun PE, population equivalent. Per capita demand will be Q, okay, divide by P, multiply dengan 365 hari. So kita akan dapat lah berapa liter per day. So per capita ni depend on the area, okay, lifestyle, okay, urban berbeza, rural area berbeza, okay. So factor ni, factor yang saya cakap tu, kedudukan size of the city, okay, keadaan, quality water supply, okay, cost of the water, local policy, okay, sewerage, all these things will be effect for the per capita demand, berapa banyak dia guna dalam sehari ataupun sehari tu. So all these things will be affected lah. This is the domestic water demand, okay, usually normal condition. This one yang saya cakap habit, lifestyle apa semua tu akan juga will be affected to the water demand. So normal condition we use between 135 to 150 liter per day. Okay, however in developed country figure maybe sampai 350 lah liter per day. Itu sebab dia gunakan others purpose, bukannya untuk diri sendiri saja. Okay, kalau in Malaysia we be assume for the each people or each population we be use 135 liter per day. So this is the detail of the users. Okay, drinking, bathing, okay, cooking, laundry, okay, utensil, housing cleaning and toilet flushing. So every people we assume that they consume the water as much as the 135 liter capita per day. Okay, capita ni apa people lah, per people. Okay, so here based on the state, okay, the state depend lah ni 2015-2016 saya try dapat data terbaru 2021 ni pula data berapa. Either the consumption per capita per day will be reduced or not. So depend on the state. So this one, the value ni depend on the lifestyle cara hidup juga menyebabkan penggunaan air tu tinggi dan rendah. Juga service lah, water service. Okay, bagus tak bagus, okay, good or not good at the area will be affected to the consumption. Okay, so Malaysia target 180 liter per capita per day. So currently 2009 average 209 liter per capita per day. Okay, industrial water demand, okay, usually they use almost 20, okay, 20 to 2% of the total water demand of the city, and the rest domestic lah. Yang paling tinggi adalah domestic lah. Domestic paling tinggi, and the 25 adalah total for the industrial. Okay, institutional and commercial water demand. Okay, apa yang saya institutional, universiti lah, universiti, sekolah, and ada tadika ke apa, we call it commercial, macam BP mall apa semua tu as the commercial water demand. Okay, another thing, important thing is the fire demand. Fire demand is very important. As the emergency, when we have the fire event atau fire problem, so fire demand must be include in this calculation. When we compute for the water demand, fire must be include Okay, fire demand must be included for the calculation. Okay. If I not proper control and extinguishing in the minimum possible time, they lead to the serious damage and may burn city. That's why lah kenapa dalam kita calculation of the water demand for the certain area ataupun development, fire demand ni kena masuk dalam kita punya pengiraan. As during the fire breakdown, large quantity of the water is required. Okay, throwing is over the fire to extinguish. Therefore, provision is made in the water work to supply sufficient quantity of the water or keep as the reserve the water meant for the this purpose ni saya cakap tadi lah. Kenapa kena ambil? Sebab apabila berlaku fire any burning area ataupun building ke apa, so dia require a lot of the water. Tapi when we compute for the water demand, not include for the fire demand. So maybe when they're doing that the situation, so they have not achieve the sufficient demand, sufficient volume for control the burning area. Okay, so fire demand dia selalu dalam guideline lah. Kalau you fire demand ni, kalau you after ni bila you kerja, okay, when you design for the water reticulation. Okay, so they have the one part of the water demand. Water demand ni depend on the guideline. Selalunya kat majlis bandaraya ke dia ada punya specific for the water demand. But in this one, generally we can compute the water demand Q sama dengan 318 divide cert population. So kita tahulah what is the Q in the unit liter per meter. Okay, so for the fire demand, so the outlet atau point of the water demand is the hydrant lah, fire hydrant. So fire hydrant must be located 100 or 115 a part of the fire demand. So contoh dia, kalau if you have the design certain area, so sini kawasan perumahan, okay, contoh ni perumahan, okay, ni jalan raya, road. So when you locate kat sini satu contoh, semua ada fire demand, fire hydrant. Okay, so make sure another tu ada kos ni. So kalau kita kira dia tu lebih kurang 100 ke 150 meter. Macam itulah dia punya location. Okay, mesti ada jarak dia, mesti. So maksudnya sini boleh semua boleh capai lah. Bila berlaku kan, dia punya water hydrant tu have the good coverage to control for that area. To the total demand of the water extinguishing fire is usually very small. The rate of the consumption is the very high. Okay, demand dia rendah tapi rate dia, kadar kegunaan dia tinggi. Okay, dia depend on the bulk, congestion and resistant pudding. Masa dia fire tu, dia contoh volume, let's say the volume 1000 meter cube, tapi bila kadar dia gunakan untuk 1 minit ataupun 1 saat tu tinggi, itu dimasukkan dia. Okay, is the main of the rate of the consumption is the high. Okay, contoh dia water demand, contoh dia kata water demand untuk kawasan tu 2000 liter. Okay, 2000 liter, tapi dia punya rate of the consumption maybe 50 liter per minit. Tentulah, so the rate tu lebih besar. So fire hydrant of the diameter 15 to 20 cm diameter are normally provided on the street corner and it is suitable intermediate point. Okay, saya cakap letak kat tengah ke ataupun 125 point. Okay, so the fire moderate 3 stream each, 1000 liter per minute dia fire. Okay, consumption dia 150 liter per day. Consumption rendah tapi dia punya fire ni adalah tinggi. Okay, provisional fire demand made only 4-5 hour fire flow. So make sure the water demand sufficient, okay, to cater for the 4-5 hour fire flow. Okay, the total water on yearly basis is usually very small because fire break out only few time in the year. Memang kegunaan dia kurang, tapi untuk penyediaan dia tu kena cukup. Okay, so this is the engineer water system. Okay, so let's say we have the water intake, okay, from the stream, from the river to the treatment plant ataupun from the reservoir. Okay, well, so depend lah water treatment ni what is the sources. Okay, what is the sources of the water intake depend of the certain area, usually the stream or reservoir lah ataupun dam. Okay, dari empangan ataupun stream. So common lah dua. These two sources is the common in Malaysia. They catered from the reservoir and stream. So after treatment, so the distribution for the industrial, okay, for the domestic, and then lastly the effluent industry, they have the pre-treatment lah, must be comply before the discharge to the water bodies. Okay, so they have sanitary, rainfall, okay, combine go to wastewater treatment plant. This one domestic waste pun akan water treatment plant, and then after treated barulah masuk. So industri ni kena treated first, third, and then sebelum masuk ke wastewater. Kalau tak, dia tak boleh masuk ke water treatment sebab dia punya komposisi, constitution of the water in the industry tu different, berbeza. So dia kena pre-treatment dulu supaya dia comply ataupun dia boleh meet the standard ataupun required for wastewater treatment plant punya processes. Okay, so for the surface water treatment, okay, what is the purpose? Okay, the first thing we want to remove the suspended material for turbidity and color. Color usually due to the sedimentation, okay, eliminate pathogenic organism. And treatment technology largely based on the coagulation and filtration. Okay, so here is the standard lah, conventional treatment in Malaysia. So daripada water supplies, they have the screening. Sini nak elak lah kayu ke batu ke yang saiz-saiz besar, okay, tak elak kan. And then they have the screening, should be they have the equalization basin dulu. Yang semua lah untuk epic mesin untuk equalization lah. Equalization, and then the inject with the coagulation and occur the flocculation, sediment, and then go to the sediment basin. Floc ni nak daripada partikel kecil ni dia gabung jadi besar, and then boleh settle down, water dah bersih, go to sediment. Sediment ni mana-mana yang tak lepas, yang lepas di sini dia akan trap sini, trap at the sediment basin, and rapid sand filter untuk remove all these smallest particle, okay, bacteria and so on, and then disinfection for the virus and so on, and storage and pass to the distribution system. This is the typical flow ataupun process for the water treatment. Here is the picture for the logic water air sebenarnya Selangor. This one lah, selalu kita dengar shutdown in the logic water air sebenarnya sebab sources from the river, daripada sungai ni sumber air. So when the sungai is polluted and not comply with the raw water standard, so they need to shut down until the raw water meet the guideline. So this the question lah, this picture for the logic water air sebenarnya. Okay, ni lebih detail lah. Yang tadi secara umum, so dia lebih detail. So dia ada intake, ada reaction lagi, okay. So dia ada tambahan lah for the primary treatment, secondary treatment, okay, masuk dalam sini, dan lastly supply to the consumer. Okay, this one kita akan discuss lah lepas ni lebih detail, okay, what will happen, okay, in the pre-treatment, okay, primary, okay, what is the disinfection will be discussed after this for the next topic, okay. Okay, the treatment process, rapid mix, this mean we call as the mixing, okay, mixing chemical with the water, we use the coagulant. So coagulant ni we call as the alum lah, alum. Coagulant tu kita call as the alum, so they like the glue, so they will be bonding for the small particle, okay, and then after bond, they have the flocculation. Flocculation, that means they become more bigger of the solid, and then they remove as the gravity, okay, and the settling, okay, filter to very fine, as I explained tadi. Chlorination is the disinfection lah, to remove the bacteria or virus, okay. So the other treatment to be considered pre-chlorine, if the water have the formation of the trihalometane, okay, pre-sediment to reduce it and settle down it. Ni daripada water resource lah, water is not very good about the sediment, so they have the need for the pre-sediment fluoridation, okay, for the dentals. Post chlorine to form the remaining residual chlorine. So residual chlorine ni important untuk kita make sure the presence of the chlorine along the distribution system. Chlorine tu masih ada dalam pipe air nanti. Okay, so activated carbon to remove odor and testing, ni additional lah, depend on the water sources, okay, raw water intake. Okay, the surface water, we have the two aim, okay, goal for the water treatment. So what is the aim? The first, make sure the water is still palatable, and the second one is the potable. So palatable, that means the aesthetical, placing. Consider that the presence of the chemical that do not pose the threat to the human health. Okay, palatable effect by chlorine, color, corrosive iron, yang nampaklah color bau tu, so palatable lah. Okay, kalau potable, safe to drink. Okay, non necessary aesthetical placing, pastinya kadang-kadang bau, dia ada bau tapi masih boleh minum, so that's we call as the potable. Okay, safe to drink. Okay, potable effect by microbial, okay, organic chemical, inorganic chemical, and also the radionuclides. Okay, ni yang saya cerita tadi for the raw water. So how we can, what is the system ataupun method that can be used for the water intake. Okay, water intake is the withdrawal water. Okay, collect the water, keluarkan air from the river, lake or reservoir over the predetermined range of the pool level. So masa dia dekat dalam tu, kalau pool level dia rendah, dia kena top up balik, top up macam tu lah. Intake can be correctly positioned using the number techniques. Okay, ni is the method lah, including the suspending the inlet from the float, okay, squirting in the inlet, rigid structures seperti bucket or rib, okay, using the rigid pipe work or freezing condition. Okay, ini bucket dia letak dalam ni, so dia kena ada ni lah, bucket atau ada screening supaya dia pump yang benda-benda besar tak masuk dalam pipe ni. Okay, untuk nak jaga pump ni, that's why we have ada batu-batu ni, okay, supaya dia sebagai dia surface, okay, untuk dia filter bahan-bahan yang tak perlu yang besar-besar lah, untuk elakkan pump ni rosak. Okay, and then ni dalam rigid pipe work pun sama, dia tak boleh bawah, so level ni kena betul lah, level ni must be for the design, for the level must be correct lah. Dia tak boleh terlampau tinggi, kalau rendah saya tengok low water level kat mana, higher level ni, low water level, so dia akan design on that point. So kalau dia letak atas sangat sini, so bila low water level tak ada air, tak boleh nak pump, so akan ganggu. So dia semua kena tengok air naik pasang surut lah, low and high tide for the sources. Okay, ni semua tower intake, ni rigid lah. Okay, structure tower intake selalu kat reservoir lah. Reservoir ada tower intake, so air akan masuk dalam ni, siphon, so dia akan pergi ke water treatment plant. Okay, ni floating, dia boleh mobilize lah, kat mana-mana kita boleh letakkan dia. So ni surface punya figure. So ni kalau kat dalam ni dalam ais, kalau dalam ais dia pakai juga straw bomb, so dia akan float. So dia semua ada control lah, so dia boleh pumping air. So ni ada fabricated untuk control from the largest particle to be pumping into the piping, to avoiding from the pumping into the piping. Okay, so there's the following the characteristic of the intake succession. So ni antara lah yang saya cerita tadi, water quality dah cerita dah tadi. Water depth, so kena tahulah atas bawah tu, kena tahu water depth sesuai, where is the suitable level for the pumping. Stream of the current velocity, so tak boleh laju, tak boleh kuat sangat. So you nak put for the selection for the point for the water intake, must be to sure the velocity is the suitable. Kalau laju sangat nanti kita punya pipe tu boleh rosak ataupun dia terbawa oleh arus. Okay, foundation stability, okay, masuk keluar senang. Power availability, okay, proximity to water treatment plant, dekat tak jauh sangat. Environment impact, okay, hazard tu negative, navigated, so tak ada benda-benda yang boleh bawa kepada hazardous lah. Okay, so consideration intake velocity below, velocity, head loss, intermittent suspended yang saya cakap tadi lah. Metal ni kena elak. Okay, pet fish and other aquatic animal kena elak lah. Okay, kalau high velocity semua dia akan boleh bawa velocity below x cm per second allow aquatic animal to escape and minimize the suspended metal. So itu yang kita kena kawal lah, velocity, untuk tengok intake velocity. port location, water quality, the each stratum may be vary to achieve multiple intake port set at various level as generally provided. Okay, top intake less than 2 meter below the normal level. For the bottom intake less than 1 meter above the bottom. Okay, so top ni maksudnya air kita ambil daripada atas ni. Ni top intake. Okay, pipe dia daripada atas. So level ni kita letak dia punya point ni bawah sampai 2 meter lah. 2 meter. Kalau bottom maksudnya tadi lah, ni sungai, so kita letak bawah. So ni 1 meter. So kita pasang label bawah ni 1 meter, and then kita masuk ke water treatment plant. This is the way lah. What is the consideration? What is the factor that need to consider for the intake selection
system? So what is the grid? The grid is designed, okay, to remove the grid. Okay, what is the grid? Consists of the sand, gravel, cinders or others heavy solid materials that have the specific gravity or settling velocity substantially greater than those of the organic particle in the water. So when they have the specific gravity Sg, so you know Sg is the density of the substance divided by the density of the water, or specific weight of the substance divided by specific weight of the water. Okay, water 1000 lah, 1000 and 9810 ni typical value, but it depend on the density of the liquid or water. So when they have the highest of the Sg, and or settling velocity, so all this material, okay, we easily remove, okay, actually remove by settling, okay, because they have the high Sg and high Sg or settling velocity, Vs, the high Vs or Sg, so they easily to settle down in the grid removal. Okay, grid removal located after basking and before sedimentation. In the video you can see lah the basking, dia ada jenis basking. So basking ni dia nak sekat lah, dia nak hold any, okay, basking dia nak any roots ke or larger particles, trash or so on lah. Okay, so usually the sizing less than pumping punya diameter lah, okay, ranting ke daun-daun kering, so they can be trapped in the basking. Okay, so before primary sediment, so just like the cement tank, designed mainly to remove heavy particle or coarse inert and the related suspended solid for the water protect. Okay, so the purpose is to protect moving mechanical equipment from the abrasion, okay, and the second one to accompany abnormal water. Okay, so they have the two types of the grid removal system. The first is the rectangular horizontal flow and aerated grid chamber. This one organic are keep in the suspension by rising aerated system provide at the bottom of the tank. So for aerated ni, so they are the aerated from the bottom. They have the aerated, okay, they give the air, okay, air pressure, okay, rate, and then the solid will be suspend. Okay, so this is the velocity control of the grid removal. Okay, so when the grid will be down here, will be settled down here, and then this will be scrape out the grid from the system. Okay, this is the machinery lah, the detail of the machinery. So this is the cross section area. So cross section, this one aerated grid chamber, so they given aerated, and then this one akan flow keluar. Okay, the flow keluar for the grid, it will be flow out. Okay, how we can design the horizontal flow for either in the rectangular or square. Okay, in the rectangular or square grid removal system. So the standard design or guideline for the grid removal system. So cross section area for each unit. Okay, cross section A equal Q design divided by H for the each unit. So H must be approximate to 0.3 meter per second and depth between 1.15. Okay, assuming TD, okay, detention time between 1 to 2 minutes to determine length equal V height, height. Okay, so setting, so let's say you have the rectangular grid removal. Okay, so A here adalah A here, cross section area. The view from here, you view here, the A view from here. Okay, so this one we call it as the cross section area. So Q yang insert the flow insert into the system. Okay, the flow rate into the system. So H here lah, the Q here, H pun H here, velocity horizontal velocity. So what is the flow air flow in the great chamber. Okay, so TD for we want to compute for the L, so we need to determine the TD is the time settling. So the particle, what is the D unknown, so VH TD, so VH we need to, for the length we need usually we need to add 10% additional lah. Okay, so we need to loading rate between surface loading rate 1000 meter per second and velocity settling, okay, more than 0.01 meter per second. So grid produced is about 1.5 feet per million of the water flow. Okay, add to depth 0.3 freeboard and plus grid. This is the design lah, statistical design. So how we can compute for the settling velocity? So settling velocity they use the Stokes law. So gravity we know lah, 9.81. So the density of the particle, density of the water, diameter of the particle. Okay, diameter particle lah, yang particle kita nak remove tu, the particle that we want to remove, they settle down. So average particles, usually we use the average particle diameter. Okay, new is the dynamic viscosity. This one you already learn in the fluid mechanics. So there is new dynamic viscosity and kinematic viscosity. Saya lupa kinematic viscosity. Okay, kinetic viscosity this unit. Okay, kinematic viscosity, dynamic viscosity. This one you already learned in the fluid mechanics. So this is the calculation how we can determine the size of the grid removal. Okay, the first thing you need to calculate the settling velocity. So using the Stokes laws. So this one density of the particle, this one density of the water. Okay, so this one new dynamic viscosity. How you can get this one? Usually you can find in the properties lah, water properties. Okay, water properties. In the water properties, at a certain temperature, they have shown what is the density, what is the dynamic kinematic, what is the dynamic viscosity, what is the dynamic kinematic, and so on lah. The other properties of the water. So you can look at the water properties table. Okay, in the Google you can find it. Okay, so D is diameter. Depend lah. Sometimes question given. Usually the question will be given the diameter. Here the diameter, they given the mean. Okay, mean, purata, average of the diameter. Okay. So here they given the 20 degree. So from the 20 degrees you can find the water properties to determine for the density water and dynamic viscosity. Okay, so and this is the design, required design. There must be 1.5 times the width at the maximum flow. So the depth D atau H equal 1.5 W. This is all the information given in the question. So you need to design the grid chamber. Okay, so this one settle, you can get the velocity Okay, calculate the cross section area. So cross section area I already described previously, I already mentioned. So here so area here. Okay, this one we call as the cross section area. Okay, not this area, bukan yang ni, bukan yang surface. This one we call as the surface area. This one we call the cross section area. This one we call as the surface area. So kena beza, you can differentiate between the cross section area and surface area. So calculate the cross section area. So AX sini AX here. So Q divide by V. Q already given, V is the velocity lah, velocity, horizontal velocity. Mana this one, velocity, horizontal velocity 0.3. So A equal Q. Q is the 1000 meter cube, the cube per day, divide by 0.3 meter per second. Okay, so you need to change the unit lah, convert the unit, day and second. So you need slash out, so change in the second, so you can get the areas. Surface area, cross section area is 0.39, and then the requirement said H must be 1.5 width. So area width multiplied with the height or depth. H is equal 1.5, so you masukkan here, plug it in here, and then you can get 1.5 W square. Okay, so you solve for the W, and then you get the W 0.5. After get the W, you can solve for the height, depth or the depth. So W multiply 1.5, you can get this one for the depth. And then you need to okay, this one settle width the settle 0.151, height 0.76. So length, so how we can determine the length? So to determine the length, we need to determine what the weight or duration. Okay, duration for the settling, for the particle to settle down. So let's say here, so this is the particle inlet. So how long they want to settle down to the bottom of the chamber. So this one we call as the detention time for the particle, TD for the particle. When you compute for the particle, so you can determine the TD, how long the particle will be settled down. So TD equal to D divided by Vs. So actually this one come out with the velocity of the particle equal to depth, this one depth, and divide by time. So berapa lama dia nak settle down. Okay, so this one you dah already ada get 0.39. so depth you already get 0.76, so you can determine for the T. So T, and then you arrange this one, you can get the T is to 19.4 second. Okay, from the 19.4 second you multiply with the velocity, horizontal velocity 0.3, and then you can get the length equal to 5.8 meter. Okay, this is the way how you can compute for the grid chamber. Okay, you can try this one. Then we proceed for the screening. Okay, this is the unit operation that remove suspended metal from the water. Skin may be classified as the coarse, fine or micro strainer, depend on the size of the metal removed. Okay, coarse skin or threshold to prevent the large object to enter the conveyance system. Okay, conveyance system tu in the grid lah, kat bawah nanti conveyance. Okay, so consists of the vertical flat bar. Okay, ni flat bar. Or in the some case around the pipe space with the 5 to 8 cm for the clear opening installed outside of the any slush gate. The velocity to the cross section is the 8 cm per second. Okay, this is just information lah, ni rotary lah. Okay, so how they collect. Okay, this one screen bar here. Yang red, this one adalah skin bar. So water, the particle will be trapped here. So dia ada rotaries. This one akan remove the collect all the trapped object. Okay, ni dalam gambar ya. So dia akan flow trap here. So the rotary lah, this one. So the rotary to remove of the solid, particle solid. Okay. So after that, we do for the aeration. So what is the purpose of aeration? To reduce the concentration of the taste and odor causing of substance by volatilization. Okay, to oxide iron and manganese rendering them insoluble. Okay, so but in the surface water, the value of the iron and manganese not too much. If in the groundwater, the concentration of the iron and manganese sometimes is higher than the surface water. To dissolve oxygen in the water to make it taste better, so they increase the DO in the water. So increase to DO. Okay, to remove the compound for the better water treatment, so ni sulfate oxide, remove before chlorinization, and carbon oxide remove before softening. Okay, they need to remove both compound before entering the water treatment. So they have the two type of the aerator, common typical type of the aerator is the cascade. Water is sent down gravitationally and the oxygenized as it encounter the air bubble caused by turbulence flow. Okay, and the second one is diffuse water. Water is enriched with the oxygen as it is encounter the air bubble. Okay, instead of using cascade or using the this one yang ni. Okay, this one is the aerator. Ni similar yang you can find in the video I share. The video that I share, you can find this type. Okay, this one cascade lah. Cascade ni macam dia cascade, the function like the waterfall. Okay, waterfall. So waterfall, like waterfall. Okay, so cascade aerator always consists of the circular tray stacked one above the other with the center feed pipe. So dari center lah sini pipe ni, center pipe. So water kan sini pumping. Okay, and the flow out. Okay, flow out and the turun as the cascade. Pump. Okay. Okay, this is the dimension formula. R equal 1 plus 0.5 multiply A, B, H. So A here, level of the water pollution. If the slightly polluted, we can use this coefficient value. If the moderate, 1.0. If in the sewage effluent, we use 0.5. Okay. So in the surface water, we can choose either 1.0 or 1.25 for the coefficient for the value, the coefficient value for the A. So the B, okay, if you free fall, the naik air jatuh terus lah. Free fall, this one free fall. This one pipe air dia jatuh terus. Okay, free fall. The step where 1.3. This one step lah, dia ada step. Okay, H is the total height of the fall in the meter. So H here. Variation occur in the splash area. The collection basin area is the size according to loading rate of the this one the guideline for the loading rate. Okay, generally the head require of the cascade range 1.4. So head ni you faham head the pressure lah. Head ni, so water can move up to the 1 to 3 meter. So head usually unit in meter represent for the pressure. Okay, how many pressure they require for the aeration usually between the 1 to 3. So P equal rho G H. So H here 1 to 3 meters. Okay, so the R. Okay, the R is the ratio of the oxygen deficit. Okay, ratio of the oxygen deficit. Okay, penggunaan oxygen just before the aerator to the just after the aerator. So DO sini lah, DO here and DO after. Okay, so before yang ni lah, before auto kat sini lah, DO here before, DO after. So we need to minus lah, before and after. So usually before DO is the lesser than after. So after already enriched by DO, so DO must be increased higher than the DO before. Okay, so this is the simple equation, simple example. So how we can design for the aeration. So for the intake DO, so DO before 4.5, where is saturation point at this temperature and pressure, the DO is the saturated DO is the 8.2. At the degree 2.5. So this one adalah DO saturated. Okay, the water inflow 390 meter per hours, design the cascade aerator. So the first step you need to determine what is the target. Okay, what is the target at the final DO after aeration. Okay, after aeration. Okay, after aeration, so what is the DO final after aeration? So what is the volume? Usually we look at the standard. We look at the standard. So at the standard must be the range between the 6 to 7. I thought 6 to 7. Okay, 6 to 7. Okay, so the easier way for the treatment requirement, we use the 80% of the saturation. Okay, this is the guideline ataupun standard that you can use to determine for the DO after aeration. So you use 80% of the saturation DO. Okay, saturation DO 8.2, so you multiply with the 0.5, so this is the target je lah. This is the target for the DO after aeration. So you can calculate the ratio of the deficit. So DO saturation minus DO initial divide by DO saturation minus DO final. Okay, after ni before aeration, ni after aeration. So you can find the deficit. Okay, so apply the Gametian formula. So R already know. Okay, R is the ratio you dah dapat, and then you A, B you can determine based on the coefficient given in the page here. Okay, slightly ke moderate ke. Okay, so here we use 1.3 because we use tapered. 1 to 5 is the slightly pollutant. Okay, so you can commonly we can use the slightly pollutant. Okay, rather than moderate. Okay, slightly pollutant depend on the type of the condition of the water lah. So this one tak ada mention tak ada mention whether the water intake is the moderate or slightly. So tak ada, kita using the slightly. So and finally you can get the height after you plug in all the known value. So the height is 1.5 meter. So this one standard guideline, based on the guideline 49 meter cube per second. So the flow rate divide by flow rate, loading flow rate, loading divided by flow rate. So you can get the area is the 7.95 because the design request for the circular. So pi d equals 2 divided by 4 lah, and then you can get the diameter for the equation. So the height, diameter 3.2, the height 1.55 meters. Okay, this is the way how you can design for the equation. Okay, so we dah settle grid removal, so you know what is the purpose of the grid removal, and then we proceed for the aeration. So what is the use or the important thing for the aeration instead of the enrich the DO? Dia ada lagi 2-3 lah dia punya reason why. Okay, and then we proceed the next step is the coagulation and flocculation. Okay, so as we know, the surface water contain organic and inorganic particle. So for the organic such as clay and the colloid remain in the suspension without the aggregating for the long period of the time. Therefore, the particle cannot be removed by sediment. Okay, the particle are charged negative and stable in nature. Okay, stable equal to existing in the ionized form. Okay, this is the size of the colloid or size of the particle between 0.01 to 1 micrometer. Okay, so too small. So we, how we can remove for this particle? Okay, this range size of this particle. That's why it's important to use the coagulation and flocculation process in the water treatment, because to make sure the small colloid or particle will become the biggest. Okay, by coagulation process. Okay. So when we increase the size and then size and density, so they will be able to settle down in the sedimentation tank. Okay. So coagulant lah, dia buatan coagulant . So positive, negative, so the size will be income be bigger and more dense. Okay, this is the process of the coagulation. So in the particle or colloid, usually in the negative charge, so the destabilization by coagulation in the coagulation, so the coagulation will be attract to the particle and form the flock. Okay, and they form the flock, and then they will be settled down. This one we use alum, this one we use the ferric oxide. Okay, they have the many type of the coagulant. Okay, coagulant. So the chemical that we use, this one we call it as the coagulant. Okay, so the process we call as the coagulation. The flock, that's mean the reaction. The flock from the small, they react with the positive charge, and then they become the bigger. Okay, become the bigger. This one we call as the flocculation process. Okay, jar test in the laboratory works to illustrate the coagulation and flocculation process concept associated to the nature water. From the experiment, the optimal pH, coagulant dose, and the coagulant aid could be determined. So we have find which one is the better. Type of the coagulant dose, how much you put the coagulant in the water, and optimal pH. So what is the optimal pH? To make sure the coagulation and flocculation will be occur in optimum stage. Okay. Therefore, coagulation and flocculation designed to remove the microorganisms and colloid that cause turbidity. Toxic compounds are absorbed to the particle and inorganic material. So these things we can remove by using the coagulation and flocculation. So this one flock. After flocculation, this one yang brown, this one brown or black, slight dark brown, this one we call as the flock. So flock will be settled down. Okay, this is the mixer will be used in the water treatment. So we can use the turbine chamber, okay, popular chamber. Okay, this one the type of equipment that we use for the mixing. Okay, double compartment turbine chamber. Okay, the double compartment turbine chamber. So atas bawah lah. This one uppers and down. This one left and right. So water. Okay, or double pedal or pedal chamber. Okay, and the last one in the inline blender. So sini here dalam in the pipe, the mixing in the pipe. Okay, coagulation is a process utilize chemical coagulant. Okay, chemical coagulant here. The coagulant is mixed to, and then positive, negative lah. This one, all this one we dah cerita lah. Flock itself not yet settable, and then flocculation process take place. So the coagulation and flocculation is the saling berkait. So they need each other to make sure all the process will be completely. Okay, flocculation process that which these stable particles are bound together by hydrogen bonding or van der Waals process to form the large particle, high molecular weight polymer. Okay, or coagulant aid, we call as the coagulant previously. Doing this step to help the bridge bind and strengthen the flock, add weight and increase the settling rate. Once the flock has reached the optimum, the water ready for the sediment process. So this one we call as the flocculation. Flocculation to after positive charge and negative charge react between the negative and positive charge, and then they create the flock. The flock will become bigger by hydrogen bonding or van der Waals force. Okay, so ni this one dah cerita we dah discuss in the figure, in this figure. So you can add sikit what is the knot, the important knot here. Okay, so effectiveness of the coagulant. So the curve of the efficient coagulant in the efficient of the mixing the coagulant with the water. Coagulation happen in two mechanisms: adsorption or destabilization of the soluble hydrolysis species on the colloid, and destabilization sample with the high turbidity which need the low doses of the coagulation and the pH between 5 to 7. So if the high turbidity, low doses, and the pH between 5 to 7. The sweep coagulation where the colloid is trapped in the hydroxide precipitate. Okay, low turbidity, high dose of the coagulant. So low turbidity, so high dose, pH between 9.5 and 8. So this is the correlation between the pH, okay, coagulant, okay, with the coagulant. So this one ada optimal sweep coagulant, okay. So you know lah which the optimum for the alum absorption distribution occur here. So between the pH of the mixed solution and the dosage. So dari sini you will be measure out and you know lah what will happen to your coagulation and population. Okay. So the time is the time that the fluid remain in the reactor, and in fact the degree to which the reaction goes to complete. So the ideal reactor, T equal V divided by Q, velocity divided by volume divided by flow rate. Okay, so the basic is Q. Q is the volume divided by T, volume time. So we rearrange the basic formula. The time we can determine by Q divided by volume. Okay, so in the mechanism of the absorption or the destabilization, so the T must be in 0.5. Okay, for the sweep coagulation, the time is between 1 to 10 seconds. Okay, real reactor do not behave as the ideal reactor because of the then different due to temperature of the other cause. Okay, dia tak dapat the ideal, so dia berubah-ubah. Okay, they may have the changings in the reactor. Okay, mixing equation is included. Why? Because the division of the coagulation in the raw water. Kita nak sebarkan lah to make sure the Maxwell lah, the coagulant will be division in the water better. Okay, division of the coagulant into water is called flash mixing or rapid mixing. Rapid mixing to aim to produce the height G. Okay, height G. Okay, common alternative for the mixing, the mechanism of the coagulant is the absorption and destabilization. Diffusion mixing by pressure water jet, inline mechanical mixing or inline static mixing. Okay, common alternative for the mixing when the mechanism of the coagulation is the sweep coagulation. So there ada dua mechanism as we explained previously. First is the absorption distribution and the second is sweep coagulation. So the time pun beza lah. This one T 0.5 second, this one 1 to 10 second. Okay, so we need to use the mechanical mixing in steel tank, diffusion by pipe grid or hydraulic mixing. Okay, G high G ni high G here ni, high G ni gradient mana? Okay, this one here lah, velocity gradient. Okay, efficiency of the mixing is depending on the velocity gradient and mixing time. This is the two factors important thing in the mixing for the coagulation. Okay, velocity gradient can be thought as the amount of the shear taking place. So for the coagulation, G, okay, velocity gradient must be higher enough. When the chemical be added, the different G should be take into the consideration. Okay, so G and T ni tadi dah explain dah, time. So G between 3000 per second or 5000 per second. For the sweat coagulant, 600 per second or 1000 per second. Different chemical require different velocity gradient. So power of the mixture impart to the water could be calculated. So G, velocity gradient multiplied with volume multiplied with the dynamic viscosity. This one you can find in the water properties. Okay, the example. Okay, so the rapid mixer used for the diffusion of the coagulant to achieve the this one to achieve. So this is the important thing is the mechanism. What type of the mechanism they want to achieve? This one they nak achieve the absorption and destabilization reaction. Second one is the sweep coagulation. Okay, sweep coagulation. So there ada dua lah. They have the two mechanism. So either one. If the absorption destabilization, so you know TS equal 0.5 second. Okay. So calculate the power given velocity gradient 2000 per second. So you know the power G volume divided by nu. Okay, G given, okay, volume you can define, you can determine by using this formula. Volume equal Q multiply T. T already know. For the absorption and destabilization reaction, so T equal 0.5 second. The Q given, 300 million liter per day. So you need to convert lah. Convert unit, liter, million, liter per day. So convert to second, liter convert to meter cube. So 1000 liter equal 1 meter cube. Okay, and then new you can find in the properties, and then you can get what is the power that required to mixing the coagulant to achieve the absorption and destabilization reaction. Okay, so this one dia cakap calculate the power by using the temperature is the 25 degree. So you need to give comment why the power is different. Okay, the first thing make sure lah the new density is the different because this one 70 25 degree, the new have the different. And then what is the powers, why they required the high power or low power than 70 degree. So you need to discuss. Okay, so effectiveness of the flocculation, the curve, the crux of the efficient flocculation is the efficiency of the mixing to bring the particle into the contact with one another so that they will be collide, stick together and go to the size that will readily settle. The mixing to flocculate the coagulate water. Okay, so efficient of mixing depend on one velocity gradient and mixing time. This one we kita discuss tadi sama juga as the coagulation gradient, velocity gradient and mixing time. So for clock high enough to cause particle contact and keep the flock from the setting, but low enough to prevent the flock from tearing apart. So kita tak nak break down we need to avoid avoid the flock from the break. Okay, for the conversion treatment where settling follow flocculation, the flocculation time range between 20 and 40 minutes. Okay, this is the flocculation normally accomplished, okay, with the pedal flocculator. So after the mixing, okay, after mixing dia akan flow here lah. Okay, pedal flocculation dia akan flow sini and go out lah. So yeah, dia lalu bawah. Okay, so yang lain akan settle down here. Okay, this buffer chamber. Okay, ni this one you look in the video in the video dia this type. So air akan lalu. So they have the longest length because they want to achieve 20 to 40 minutes of the settlement, and then the flocculation will be settle down. Okay, the execution, the flocculation flow to velocity normally 5.2.57.5. Explain why we happen if the velocity less than 2.5 and more 75. Okay, so when the velocity ni, get the velocity ni, so relate the velocity. So the main idea is about the flock lah. Flock either the sempat. First they have the enough time to settle down. If the highest than this, so the flock might be can break. Okay, so they have the two factor lah if they relate to the velocity. Okay, in design the flocculation tank, which one of the flow pointer take more priority, horizontal flow to the velocity or detention time? Okay, so both ni you can tengok because of the time. Okay, ni saya explain tadi. Satu nak settle down, the second one we need avoid for the back up. Okay, so kalau flock usually relate to the settle, okay, and avoid from the breakup. Flocculation settling because of course they need to close as possible because the process is in line, okay, or simultaneous. Okay, so process settle particularly if the solid liquid segregate happen in effectively. But because the process after the flock bigger, so they need immediately to the settle down. That's why the important to should be close as possible. Kalau we have the length or different length, so they have the possibility of the breakup of the flock. So this is the coagulant. Coagulant is the chemical lah that we use to coagulate process. So this is the type of the coagulant. This is the typical lah alum. We call as the alum. Okay, the aluminium sulfate, hydrogen apa, ferric chloride, okay, ferric sulfide or poly. This one polymer lah. Okay, substance chemical is the added to the water to distribute particle and complex coagulant. Okay, properties of coagulant: non-toxic and relative inexpensive. So they have the two factors to choose for the coagulant. First, non-toxic. The second one must be inexpensive. Okay, insoluble in the natural pH range. Do not want higher concentration of the metal left in the tank. So let's say aluminium, they have the ferrum, so we don't want this metal left in the treated water. Okay, prevalent cation is lesser doses. Okay, it is the doses for the coagulant. Aluminium, lesser natrium. Okay, if you use the aluminium, so the doses less lah. If we use calcium, it's more higher than sodium. Okay, so that's why usually we use the aluminium. Okay, why prevalent? Okay, this is the answer, because the molecule weight. So here we look molecule weight. Mana paling berat? Have dense. Okay, the have then or more weight than the alum. Okay, kalau if the alum 564 okay gram per mole, so they easily to the settle down. Okay, this is the type of the coagulant in the inorganic, usually inorganic lah. We use in the water treatment. Okay, we have the hydrolyzed metal salt. Okay, organic polymer, natural plant-based material. Okay, so the three type lah. This is the major type: inorganic, pre-hydrolyzed, organic, and natural plant-based. The example of the compound or example of the coagulant. Okay, so how does alum work? So in the sufficient alkalinity in the water, so this one lah. Okay, alum flux fluctuate without water settle in the fluctuation. Okay, so this one alum enough for the alkalinity. Okay, and produce 6 mole of carbon dioxide. Okay, so they akan produce enough carbon dioxide. So the above reaction shift the carbonate equilibrium and decrease the pH. However, as long as the sufficient alkalinity is present and carbon dioxide is allowed to evolve, the pH not drastically reduced and it's generally not an proportional problem. So the pH penting lah. That's why they say carbon dioxide important for the carbon dioxide. Okay, so how we can calculate amount of the sludge for this alkalinity consumed when the 1 mg alum was used in the solution. So this is the chemical reaction basic the basic yang kita previous aluminium, so alkalinity, so this the produce this one. So we can compute for the molecule weight. Okay, this one dah tahu 594 tadi. How they get this from this formula. So aluminium berapa, sulfate how many molecule weight, hydrogen, oxygen 16 1, so dipower kali. So the answer is the 9594. Okay, so molecule weight alkalinity, so this one 61. Alum sludge is the 70 gram per mole sludge Okay, so solid remove when the 1 mg of alum was used, so 1 divided by molecule weight of the alum, so in the mole here, so solid remove how many? 2 lah. Okay, 2 you multiply dengan ni, so you can get 0.5626 mg per liter. So alkalinity consumed 1 mg alum was used. So for the alum 6. Okay, so multiply with the divide by molecule weight, so you get the answer. So if you want to express in the calcium carbonate, so this one kita dah study how you can express in the calcium carbonate in the chapter 1 divide by EW calcium carbonate, EW of the X ni X ni calcium carbonate, so you get answer in the calcium carbonate. Okay, the example how we can determine the optimum pH, optimum coagulant doses and the theoretical amount of the alkalinity that would be consumed at the optimal doses. So to set, so if you want to know either the coagulation process coagulation and flow conversion have the successful conduct in this test, so we need to determine the turbidity. Okay, so this is the result. test 1, just step 2. So here is the turbidity, here the pH. So the amount of the alum, constant, okay, constant to 10 milligram per liter. Okay, and the pH different. They have the different of the pH. The second test, the pH same, constant, but the alum dosage is the different. So we can find the optimum of the process by measure for the turbidity. Okay, so construct the graph TH, turbidity, pH, turbidity multiply with turbidity versus alum. So yang the lowest ni is the lowest ni, this one have the dosage, and the lowest is the pH. So this one you need to fit good fit line, get the good fit line. The result gini. So dapatkan good fit. Okay, best fit line. Get the best fit line. So yang this one best fit line we call it the best fit line. So you can get the pH and dosage. Okay, so one mole of alum, this one you tahu daripada reaction, chemical reaction. Okay, you know 1 mole of alum consume 1 mole of alkalinity. Then one you can compute yang sebelum dah similar okay, similar previously. So you can get the consumer is the 6.31 mg per liter as the calcium carbonate. Ini sama yang tadi 6.1116, so you get 77. So you change in the calcium carbonate. Okay, so we proceed for the next process is softening. So the removal of the iron that cause the hardness. So to prevent of the hardness kita dah study di chapter 1, what is the hardness, chapter 1. So to prevent the hardness, we need to do the softening. Okay, this process softening tu kan softlan ke daya ke apa, bukan itu baju punya softening. So for the water softening, we need to remove the hardness, kelihatan air. Okay, this process we call common for the groundwater source. Okay, surface jarang lah, sebab kalau common, when you look at the video, in the video dia tak ada they don't have the process of the softening. So softening usually required if your raw water come from the groundwater. Okay, so hardness we dah clear sebelum ni. Hardness, what is the hardness? This is the precipitation topsoil. So the contact with the rock and then they create the hardness. Okay, so ni kita dah explain in chapter 1. This one related to hardness. Hardness we dah discuss hardness in chapter 1. So you already know what is the total hardness, what is the non-carbonate hardness, what is the carbonate hardness. This one we already explained in the chapter 1. So carbonate hardness and non-carbonate hardness already you know, because hardness and softening relate either one. If you have the hardness water, so you need to do for the softening water. Okay, so the example ni pun kita dah discuss in the chapter 1, how you can determine for the total hardness, carbonate hardness, non-carbonate hardness. So saya move okay, so what is the type that compound or that you can use for the softening? Usually we use the lime soda softening. It's possible to call it the chemical dosage necessary to remove the hardness. Hardness precipitation is based on the following two soluble reaction. Okay, to supply carbonate iron, the chemical used is the soda. Okay, to supply hydroxide iron, the economic way to buy is the lime. Okay, calcium oxide, then mix with the water to produce the carbon hydroxide. Okay, hydride lime. Okay, so this is the softening reaction. The softening reaction are regulated by control the pH. The first, any free acid are neutralized. Then the pH they rise to precipitate the calcium carbonate. If necessary, pH they rise again to remove the magnesium hydroxide. Finally, if the necessary, carbon dioxide is added to precipitate the non-carbonate hardness. This is the process for the softening. So the main parameter is the pH. The control by pH, the increase and lowers the value of the pH. Okay, 6 important softening reaction are shown. So this one neutralize carbonate, preparation for carbonate hardness. Okay, precipitation of the non-carbonate due to calcium and due to magnesium. Magnesium more expensive to remove than calcium, then leave as the much magnesium as the possible in the water. So let's say in the standard set the magnesium standard requirement is the 200 mg per liter. So when we design for the softening, we just meet to the standard. This quite okay. Okay, to remove the non-carbonate hardness is the more expensive because we must add the carbon dioxide or soda. Therefore we leave as much non-carbonate hardness as the possible in the water. So ni maksudnya sama lah, leave as much ni sama dengan here. So we just comply the standard. Okay, traditional the first total hardness is set 75 to 100 mg as the calcium carbonate. However, due to the economic constraint, many utilities will operate total hardness of the 14 to 150 mg per liter as the calcium carbonate. Okay, concurrent removal of the other species, natural organic matter, turbidity and other material limitation because of the soluble of the calcium carbonate and the magnesium hydroxide. Ideal mixing is the prohibited from the hardness ion remain in solution because in insufficient time for the reaction. Minimum carbon hardness 30 mg per liter as the calcium carbonate. Minimum magnesium hardness is 10 as the calcium carbonate. So we leave in this form, this value. Okay, this six step we discussed previously. Nature of the carbonate acid, add lime to neutralize any free acid. Okay, no hardness is removed in this step. No hardness the first neutralize of the carbonate acid ni, no hardness removed yet. Okay, and then we precipitate of the carbonate hardness due to calcium, and this step barulah ada carbonate remove for the hardness. Okay, so precipitate of the carbonate hardness due to magnesium. So add lime to increase the pH to about to 11. The reaction may consider to occur in the two stages. The first stage occur when we convert all the bicarbonate to carbonate, and second stage they add more lime. Okay, and therefore lastly remove the non-carbonate hardness due to calcium. No further increase in the pH required, so they just add the soda je lah, additional carbonate in the form of the soda. And first step is the removal of the non-carbonate due to magnesium, add lime. Okay, and then eliminate for the calcium, add soda. Okay, they follow diagram to solving the softening problem. Or additional as the milligram as the calcium carbonate. This is the step lah. Add lime. Okay, for carbonate, add lime for the hydrocarbonate. If the magnesium more than 40, you proceed this, add lime. Okay, if no, proceed. Okay, add lime excess 20, then follow lah. This one baca, you read balik lah what is your answer, and then barulah kita stop. Okay. Okay, follow the water necessary to determine amount of lime and soda to soft the water 120 mg as the calcium carbonate. This is the water composition. This question given. So plot graph below. Okay, you just plot 140 masuk sini. So you split between the non-carbonate and carbonate carbonate hardness and non-carbonate hardness. Okay, you split carbonate and non-carbonate hardness. Okay, so carbonate 2, this one sama 2O. So calcium, magnesium, natrium for the non-carbonate. Carbonate hardness and non-carbonate. This one carbonate, this one non-carbonate hardness. So you get the answer. So total hardness is 2.5. Okay, carbonate hardness 818. So total hardness larger than alkalinity. Alkalinity, this one 185 alkalinity. So carbohydrate equal to alkalinity. Okay. So and then in minus 2.5 minus ni, you can get non-carbonate hardness 30 mg per liter. Okay. So you kena ikut and then you ikut slide ni this figure. Okay, so lime, carbon dioxide, CO2, HCO2. Okay, this one daripada data lah given. So lime minus 40, sinilah lime minus 40. Okay, minus 40, magnesium, magnesium 65 minus 40, so dapat 28.8 less, so you kena add lime 20. Okay, so excess 28 lah, dia 20, dia given 20 kan, so this one 8, you just guna 25.8. jika the answer is less than, let's say 18, so you need to use 20. Okay, so the total is the 265.9 milligram per liter acetate calcium carbonate. So calculate the non-carbonate and left and remove. So left, final desire, how many required? 1 to 4 O or 1 to O. Okay, minus 40, so you get the 80 milligram is the left. Okay, so remove minus non-carbonate left. So left is 18, non-carbonate is 30, so negative 20. Indicated there is no need to remove non-carbonate, so no soda required. If the answer is the positive, so you need to required for the soda. Okay, so you can add lagi lah, tambah. Okay, so try for this one, softening. Okay, I will stop from now this video. Just for the softening, and then we continue for the next video for the rest of the process. Okay, thank you.